everybody. Raiders live from Media Row. Amber Theoharis along with Eddie Paskal. It's good to be back with you for day number 2.
Yes, we are doing it, Amber. We've been working. You've been crushing it this afternoon. We have so many things to get to. My goodness. But yeah, good energy here in the building. We're really excited to be back.
Yeah, we're going to be live with you guys here on YouTube from 2 to 4 o'clock Pacific. And we have got some big guests coming through. We're going to be talking to the Hall of Famer, Warren Sapp, former Raider, too, as well. And I'm going to ask him about his days with the Black Hole.
Yeah.
I think he was a big fan of Raider Nation. Also, we're going to be talking to Brian Baldinger from NFL Media, Osi Umenyiora, who played with Antonio Pierce, won a Super Bowl with him. So we're going to have a lot of guests coming through here on Media Row. But I'll tell you, this is an exciting time for the Raiders because, look, we know the AFC West is a difficult division. It always has been. And as long as the Chiefs are in that division and Patrick Mahomes is at the helm, they will be at the top of the Everest until someone comes and knocks them off. And we've talked to a couple of guests or people that we've been talking to around Media Row about this. What will it take for the Raiders? And I think the Raiders could be in a good position to, in the next couple of years, to be that team that can knock off the Chiefs, win the division. But if you could sum up what it will take, what would it be?
Man, and JT and I were actually having a similar conversation at this morning, kind of, not putting in power rankings where the Raiders rank in the AFC West, but to your point, kind of looking at what do we need to do, have sustained success in this division. And I think for me, it comes down to playing Raiders football, right? And I think that Antonio Pierce, we've heard since day one, has a very clear vision of what he wants the Raiders to look like. And I think that as we go through an offseason now, as him and Tom Telesco get a chance to really build the roster in their image and likeness, to have an opportunity to play the type of football, bring in the type of guys that they want. If the Raiders can find those individuals, if they can go 1-53 and say this is a Raiders roster and they play their type of football, yes, it's a Herculean task to knock off the Chiefs, but the Raiders have done it. I mean, they did it less than 2 months ago. So
there is a crack, right? There is an opportunity. There's a small door opening, and the Raiders busted it down on December 25th. And they showed that defense did show a blueprint of how you get after Patrick Mahomes. I think it also starts with coming out to an early lead if you're going. But the Chiefs, even when they're down early, they can come back, and we saw that in the first time they played the Raiders this season. I think it's when you look around this division and you say, okay, Antonio Pierce, a rookie coach, is going to be coaching against Sean Payton, Andy Reid, and Jim Harbaugh now. So the AFC West looks different from a leadership standpoint. But I have thought a lot about this, and I feel like Antonio Pierce, I'm going to talk to some of our guests about this. I feel like Antonio Pierce could be the Dan Campbell, kind of coming in, a former player, filled out a lot of his coaching staff with former players or consulting with former coaches, and is that gritty, bite your kneecap or whatever it was Dan Campbell said, and become a problem to play. Like the Chiefs will tell you the Raiders were a problem on December 25th. They didn't want to run into them that day, and as Andy Reid said, they whooped their butt. And I think that could be the foundation of starting to knock these, Goliaths off one by one, and then all of a sudden you're in an AFC Championship game the way that the Lions were in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, and I think so much that, and we talked about that identity, right? And we've talked the past couple of days, and really since November 1 is we've talked about Antonio understanding the uniqueness of being a Raider and understanding, hey, it's okay to kind of live outside the lines a little bit and to be ourselves and to be authentic. And so, yes, to your point, we have seen it a bunch that this group have bought into what AP is preaching. And yes, and I think the one thing that AP has, one of many, is that he surrounded himself with a guys with a lot of experience. The coaches in the AFC West now, there's a lot of experience, a lot of years, a lot of success, a lot of W's that those three gentlemen are bringing to the table. And Antonio has brought in people that have done just that. You look at a Marvin Lewis, you look at a Luke Getz, you look at Tom Telesco's had a ton of success in this
Tom
game.
Coughlin has been invited to participate.
You look at some of these folks and say Antonio's building out, and I think the key word is he's building out a staff, right? He's building out a program. So yeah, no easy task, but you have to feel good about the direction the Raiders are going right now.
And you have to be real about today's NFL. Yeah. You're not winning anything without a quarterback. And you can say whether Brock Purdy is elite or Jared Goff is elite. The bottom line is they had elite numbers in 2023, 2024, and that's the reason that they had success. And so I think the biggest question mark for the Raiders is who is the quarterback that is going to drive them into the future. Patrick Mahomes is the reason why the Chiefs are perennially, it seems like, in at least the AFC Championship game, 6 AFC Championship games since he's been drafted. And so I think that's the biggest question mark going forward. And really none of us within the organization or the media have a grasp on what direction they'll go, whether they would lean towards a free agent or whether they would lean towards a young rookie. But I can say if you go for a rookie, then it leaves a lot of other opportunities to fill out a roster because you have, if you hit on that quarterback, you got him on his rookie contract.
Yeah, and I think you're just going back to Goff and to Brock Purdy, whatever the stats are, they win football games. Actually,
what's up, Mike
is one of your friends
Garafolo?
here?
Yes, this is my friend.
Not me being
yes.
rude.
No, this is what it's about.
You were invited. Okay, you sure you were invited? Who invited?
Hi, buddy. I haven't seen you in a while.
What's up? Let me give you a hug.
Yeah, so we got to get that
How
out.
you doing, my friend?
There it is.
Good to see you, Mike Garafolo.
Same here.
You know Eddie Paskal.
Yes, what's up, man?
How are you? Good to see you again.
Like the suit.
Thank you.
Vibrant.
Man, you're sharp.
See, Eddie doesn't know this. You got to compensate for the lack of hair. You know what I'm saying?
Mike Garafolo from NFL Media Insider. I know that you've been working on a lot of Raiders news over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
It seems like the Raiders have been the team that's not in the Super Bowl that people are talking about a lot. And a lot of that is the coaching regime changes.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on, I think Luke Getsy was the most recent news that you guys broke over at NFL Media of him getting the OC job. What are your thoughts on that?
I thought Luke, I've been a Luke Getsy fan for a while. And, you know, Justin Fields, to me, like there's still a quarterback there that you can work with and develop as an NFL quarterback, but he's got to come along, right? And so I think a lot of the things that Luke Getsy was trying to do, Fields wasn't quite there just yet. So conceptually, I know Antonio Pierce was impressed, and he's talked about this, the way that when they played them, you know, the offensively, from a run game standpoint, from a passing game standpoint.
Tyson Bagent had a great game
with Tyson
against the
Bagent,
Raiders.
Yeah, it was a convincing victory, and that's what he remembers. That's what what stuck in his mind. So, you know, I think depending on what happens with the quarterback position, obviously, you've got yourself an offensive coordinator that I'm impressed with. I know a lot of people around the league are impressed with and could have a chance to flourish in Vegas.
You know, and one guy that we're really excited to kind of see reunite with Luke Getsy is Davante Adams. They have a history together, certainly kind of at the, Luke was there at kind of the precipice, the beginning of the Davante Adams journey. I mean, what is it going to take for them to, I don't want to say get on the same page, but kind of pick up where they left off in terms of Davante becoming this explosive, dynamic playmaker that we all know and love now?
Well, Aaron Rodgers is not throwing the football, right? So, that, listen, trust me, I covered the Jets closely living in New Jersey. When you take Aaron out of the equation, you try to do things a certain way, it's not going to work if Aaron's not there. So you've got to approach it again. I mean, we're perhaps months away from figuring out who the Raiders quarterback is going to be, both in the short term and for the long haul. But that is certainly a guy that I think Luke Getsy, we saw it with DJ Moore, the ability to tap into that. I covered the game in Washington where DJ Moore went absolutely off against the Commanders. So his ability to tap into a #1 wide receiver, play to his strengths, I think is going to be a big part of what they try to do.
And I think the biggest question with Luke Getsy in this offense is, and I keep saying this, I've said it all week, it's a chicken and egg situation. It's what does a Luke Getsy offense look like? Well, who's his quarterback, right? Yeah. So the question mark is going to be, and we were just talking about this before you so rudely interrupted and sat down on our set. We were talking about, you know, it doesn't matter, to compete in the AFC West, you're good anywhere in the AFC and the NFL, you have to have a franchise quarterback. And would you say when you look at the Raiders situation, that probably is the #1 question mark that could, I mean, the defense looked great at the end of last year. They've got Davante, they've got running backs. Is that the biggest question mark for you that could take them into the future? Yeah,
I'd say no doubt. And I liked a little what I saw of Aiden O'Connell this past year, and I think he could potentially develop. Like he doesn't have that skill set of the modern quarterback that you're looking for, but his ability to get the football out quickly can compensate for that if you can scheme it up and you can coach him up the right way. So be curious to see what they're able to do with him, what Luke Getsy's able to do with him. And I know we're already speculating about the draft, and could they come up from 13? 13, right? Could they come up from 13 to potentially make a move? That's a team that I'm looking to see if they're going to be aggressive in that standpoint. So it's the #1 thing on my mind because it's going to be the #1 storyline with this team this offseason.
You know, we've talked to so many people this week, Mike, and I think one of the kind of themes that we've heard time and time again is that the Raiders are rebuilding this quarterback room, right? They're not just looking for a QB1. You're rebuilding that room. You're adding that depth. You're adding that competition. If the Raiders were ultimately decide to, hey, let's pop into the free agent market. Let's see what's out there. Let's add something in that regard. Who are some of the guys that you would keep an eye on?
It's not, I mean, it's not a great free agent, which is weird for me to say because years ago, you'd never have a free agent quarterback market like we've actually seen the last couple of years. I remember it was the one year I think it was 2020, because I think it was the year that Tom Brady was free, and I was writing the names for my free agent spreadsheet, and I was like, I can't believe the names that I am writing. It was like Drew Brees, it was Tom Brady. Was Cousins free? I don't remember if Cousins free. I still think Kirk Cousins going back.
He signed 50 contracts.
Yeah,
I feel like
I still think he winds up back in Minnesota. So you're looking at those names down there, and Mayfield I think is going to stay in Tampa. That seemed to have worked for both sides. They've got to figure out the business part of that thing. But they're hiring Liam Cohen as the offensive coordinator, who had worked with him before. Certainly
him going back to Texas Tech too. Yeah,
certainly points to Mayfield returning there. So it's not a great class to me. There's availability in the draft. Again, if they can move up, that's what I would focus my energy on if I'm Tom Telesco, Antonio Pierce in this regime.
But there's two realities to both options, right? If you bring in a free agent quarterback, I know you don't think that Baker or Kirk will leave their respective teams that they're at, but that's $50 million a year, right? We're between 40 to 50. Let's give a little bit of a margin there. And then if, on the other side, if you go up to get a rookie, that's it's going to be 3 first-round draft picks, because that's been the price. I don't know if the Chicago Bears...
To come up from where they're coming from, yeah.
Exactly, right? So that's the reality of both sides, and that's something that Tom Telesco is going to have to weigh.
Yeah.
You've covered the league. You've covered Tom Telesco a long time. Do you like the move of bringing in the veteran GM?
I do, yeah.
Along with the rookie head coach?
Yeah, and I also think, he was very fortunate that there was an opening in the division, and the chance for him to come to a team that was looking for experience at the GM position, because a lot of times you don't get that second crack as a general manager. And I thought this was a guy who I heard the rumblings as the season went on, so I wasn't surprised that they moved on from him in LA. But I thought, this is a guy that's loaded that team with talent. Yeah, they haven't gotten over the edge, but how much do you put on roster construction? How much do you put on coaching and really the execution of the players at times as well? I thought he did a really nice job, has drafted well. I know that was important to Mark Davis. We want a guy that's going to be able to draft well, so that was a big part of why he came in here. He's, Antonio Pierce is going to want to come in and attack this thing. Like, let's do what we have to do to get everything done. And Tom Telesco is going to be more measured. He sat and waited for Justin Herbert that year and was confident that they were going to get their guy. And even if they didn't, they would have wound up with Tua, which I think would have worked out as well. So he's going to have a process. We're going to go through the process is probably the approach that he's going to take. And he's going to have AP in his ear, and he's going to have to kind of keep him at bay from time to time, because I know AP wants things done yesterday. So that pairing is going to be a good, it's a bit of an odd couple.
It's the yin and the yang, though, right?
It's a bit of an odd couple and a yin and a yang, but that works, and I think it's going to be a good matchup.
I'm glad you brought up the dynamic between AP and Tom, because we had a chance to talk to both of them, and like to your point, very different dudes, right?
Yeah.
Have both had a lot of success, but done it in different ways. When you look at that partnership that they're going to have, because they're coming in together, they are partners in building this and getting this going the right way. How important is it that they are able to kind of have that open line of communication, understand that, hey, we are different guys, we're going to do it in a different style, but we're ultimately trying to get the same thing accomplished?
Just at a press conference, we saw that. Antonio was going great, and Tom was just kind of like, yeah, like staying chill.
But you don't want the same mentality, because that's going to lead to nobody checking the other guy. So, and I think, I say this, and I don't mean to say that Antonio Pierce, and some people may think this, because he's coming in, he's not dressed the way a typical head coach would dress when he's arriving
Black
for work.
Air Force Ones.
And the way that he's cigars in the locker room and the chanting of the Raiders and all this stuff that you necessarily wouldn't see from a head coach. Don't question his wherewithal and his intelligence and his ability to play chess, okay? Because he's got all of those, trust me. I know, going back to having covered him when he signed with the Giants back in 2005, a cornerstone of an unbelievable free agent class. They signed Antonio Pierce, Plaxico Burress, Kareem McKenzie, Jay Feely, the kicker, and I feel like I'm missing one more. It was an unbelievable, between their draft that year, they drafted Justin Tuck in the 3rd round, Corey Webster in the 2nd round, Brandon Jacobs in the 4th round. They had 4 draft picks, which is funny because, and Tom Telesco, if you're watching, you'll appreciate this. I remember talking to Jerry Reese, the Giants GM, a couple of years later, and I said, oh boy, you really knocked it out of the park. You had 4 picks because they traded everything away for Eli the year before. And you hit on 3 of them. And he was like, yeah, but I thought that defensive end was going to pan out. And I thought he was talking about Justin Tuck, former Raider. I thought he was talking about Justin Tuck. And I said, oh, yeah, like laughing along. He's like, no, I meant the 6th rounder, Eric Moore. I'm like, you hit on 3 out of 4
Pro
bowlers.
Yeah.
And you're worried about the one you did, but that's the way a general manager thinks.
Thanks.
So, again, Telesco would appreciate that.
Well,
I forget what the question was, but I hope I answered it. That was a winding answer.
I'm just glad to have you on set and listening to you. You always add so much insight. By the way, we have Osi Umenyiora. You're speaking about the Giants coming up next right after you. He played with Antonio. Yeah, he played with Antonio Pierce. So he'll give us some insight.
You better get some great stories, okay?
I'll tell you. Yeah, that team was our Sean O'Hara, our buddy, our friend, was the center on that team.
Yeah, well, do you guys know about the air horn?
No.
You guys don't know about the air horn?
Do tell.
Okay.
Now we need to know.
I don't remember
we're going
specifically.
To break, but we're going to stay.
I don't remember specifically when it was, but it was the Giants against the media. It may have been when Strahan yelled at Kelly Nacki, the ESPN reporter. It may have been around there. Plaxico it was 2006. And so AP was the captain of the defense, and in a lot of ways the centerpiece of the team. And he had it prepared that when we came in, he was going to ring an air horn every time he didn't like a question that was asked.
I don't know the story.
It's amazing that it's now, gosh, 18 years ago. Because it was 2006, yeah. And so he blew the air, and nobody knew where it was coming from because he had it kind of hidden under a towel or something. And so I remember the clip. Somebody was asking a question, and he blows the air horn, and the reporter just jumps and trying to figure out where the air horn is.
That would have given me a heart attack.
And he was like Captain Air Horn for a while. Yeah.
Oh my God! Well, I hope he doesn't implement that for us in the media.
I don't think he will. You can't do that as a head
this year.
coach.
All right, we're gonna play. We're gonna wrap with a little
something?
Super Bowl game.
Nice,
Yeah,
okay.
I know you're good at this stuff. So what we have here is the logo from the last
7,
six,
right?
Is it 6 or 7? 7 Super Bowls, and this one is Las Vegas. So
Yep.
I want you to put, starting here, Las Vegas, working your way down. You have 1 minute to try to put the city that the Super Bowl was in. And you think this sounds easy because we've covered it.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let's get the clock started.
And Pelissero is the leader right now.
Did he get them all?
Oh,
He got them all in 40
and he
seconds.
did it in 40
All right.
seconds.
40
So
seconds.
here we go in 3, 2, 1, go.
And we're off. 1, 2.
This was 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. It was Miami,
Oh boy.
Atlanta, Minnesota,
Oh my.
Tampa,
Pelissero.
and what was after Tampa? LA. Done.
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 Stop the clock. 18 seconds.
Was it 18, 17,
I have him
18?
at 18.
There is it. Is it right? I can't see both
Boom.
of them.
Wow.
Oh, man, you crushed Pelissero.
Destroyed Pelissero.
Oh, I feel
you
so
have bragging
bad.
rights.
Oh,
you have
man. I
bragging
I feel so
rights.
badly to have done that to my colleague.
Oh, Mike Garafolo, you're awesome, man. It's so good to catch up
18
with
seconds?
you.
18.
Beat that, Osi.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Smoked him.
Chadia was 52. Look at White.
Wow.
Wait, where are we? Here we
Rich
go.
Gannon, what's up? All
Rich
right.
Gannon,
Attaboy.
37, but he only got 4 correct in 37.
7.
It's harder than you think.
is. It is.
It's harder than you
What
think.
happened? He just gave up, or he was just guessing, and that was the end of it?
No, he only got 4 right.
All right,
That's
you got,
what happened.
So
Rich Gannon.
what do I win? Season tickets?
Yeah, you win season tickets to Allegiant Stadium. Enjoy it. Some pro Raiders news coming out. Thanks a lot. Mike Garafolo, NFL Media. Check him out all week long here at the Super Bowl. Thanks.
You got it.
We'll be right back. Osi Umenyiora coming up next. He's calling the game for NFL UK.
To be a Raider is to be bold, powerful, and loyal.
Once a Raider, always a Raider.
Raider Nation family is authentic, with the heart here in Las Vegas. We are often imitated, but can never be duplicated. Why?
The autumn wind is a Raider.
Because there is only one nation.
Firstly, I don't know if you guys had a relationship before, yourself and Tom, but how quickly did you mention the 63 points you guys put on the Chargers? But also...
Right away, you know it. I told him I was going for 71. We was going to go for 2, but never. Go ahead, sir.
But also, how important is it to you as a young coach, relatively young coach, to have a guy who's been a GM for a decade already in the NFL?
Yeah, me and Tom had never met prior. Obviously, I've watched his body of work with the San Diego Chargers, and then lastly with the Los Angeles Chargers. But obviously when we met, when he came in the other day, I could see that he was genuine, he was poised, he was calm, he had a plan, he presented it, it was well thought out. He knows I was poking at him, trying to get him going, trying to get that AP juice out of him, but he stayed very poker face, which is like, okay, cool, that's good. But I think as this relationship grows, like anything else, you know, it's going to have its ups and downs. We got to be adults and grown men about it. We got to hash it out. We got to understand our roles, check our egos at the door like we do everybody else in the building, but understand that we got a plan. And that plan is to do it together, be hand in hand with it. I mean, obviously, if he goes down, I go down. That's just how it is. That's the nature of the beast. We get it. But that's not our plan. Our plan is to win, put a team in place that is competitive each and every week and gives ourselves an opportunity to win.
Appreciate the question, though.
He did. I did tell him that, right? We talked about that. Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't happy. He didn't see Jack's play, though, right? Can I tell you the story? So, boom, here it goes. I'm going to tell it anyway. So, yeah, he's like, I was getting mad. I'm coming down the elevator, and, we're at, where we're at score-wise, and we're pushing it on defense, and he says he's in the elevator, and I think Jack Jones had just intercepted the ball while he was up there. Yep. He's like, why? Like, why? That's enough.
Never seen anything like it.
Yeah. But we talked about it, hashed it out, said, look, we'll do that now together going forward.
You're listening to Upon Further Review. I'm your host, Eddie Paskal.
Good morning, Raider Nation.
Welcome to Raiders Roundtable. JT along with Eddie Paskal.
He dissects the play quickly and makes the move to the football.
Hey Raider Nation, my name is Jordy. I'm originally from Topeka, Kansas, and this is my rookie season with the Raiderettes. I wanted to be a Raiderette because I've always aspired to be on this team. Not only are these women amazing dancers, but they're amazing people, and they have such a positive impact on the community on and off the field, and I'm so grateful to be a part of that this year. To put on the silver and black is a huge honor. Like I've said, this team is full of not only amazing dancers, but amazing people who inspire the younger generations and those around us and each other throughout the season. So I'm so grateful to be a part of this sisterhood. The audition process was intense, but also really fun. I got to meet so many amazing dancers from all over the country who, we all have the same goal and we're all there for the same purpose. But what really was amazing to me was how supportive everyone was of each other. The girls, the vets, the new girls auditioning, the coaches, everyone was just really excited to be there and happy to audition. This season, I am looking forward to first stepping out on the field and feeling the energy from the crowd. I have been to a couple Raiders games, but I'm sure it'll be even more exciting being on the field with my sisters. See you on the field, Raider Nation. Just win, baby.
Welcome back to Raiders Live from Media Row. One of the continuous narratives that you hear around Media Row about Antonio Pierce is not only his physical prowess on the field, but his intelligence, his knowledge of the game, and his leadership. And nobody knows that more than his former teammate who he won a Super Bowl with, Osi Umenyiora with the Giants. He'll be calling the game for NFL UK, the Super Bowl. He'll be on that broadcast, and I had a chance to catch up with him earlier today. Joined now by Super Bowl champion with the New York Giants, Osi Umenyiora. Osi, it's good to see you.
Good to see you too. How you doing, Amber? You all right?
I'm doing great. We haven't talked in a long time, but I will tell you, you got a lot going on. I know that you'll be calling the Super Bowl as part of the NFL UK broadcast team.
Yep.
Tell me what that's going. You're originally a Londoner,
yep,
right?
Born in London, originally from Nigeria, but born in London, spent the first 7 years of my life there. So when I retired, like a week after I retired, I went back to London. I've been working for the NFL on the international stuff ever since.
How insane is the fan base there now that there are games in London? I mean, we've all seen what it looks like, but are Londoners just and Europeans in general just loving the game of American football?
Really cool. I think I played in the first game with AP.
That's right.
Interestingly enough, in 2007, when we came out here, we played in London. And then just seeing how it was then to seeing where it is now. They play 3-4 games a year there. They got games in Germany. They're playing a game in Brazil. Just the growth of the game internationally has been just stupendous, to be honest.
And you brought it up. You won a Super Bowl with Antonio Pierce. When you heard that he had the opportunity to be a head coach, we've talked to Sean O'Hara, we've talked to Justin Tuck, we've talked to a lot of different players that played on that team. When you heard he was a head coach of the Raiders, what did you think this team is getting? First
of all, I wasn't surprised. I think AP it's difficult to really put into words the type of person and player that he was when we played together. He was a leader. We would listen to him rather than listen to our coach when he was a player, right? So the transition, or him becoming the person that he is today as a coach and people listen to him, that was a no-brainer. That was always going to happen. He has it. Whatever it is, he 100% has it, and people are going to follow him because he has charisma. He's a leader. He's done it. He's honest. He's open, and people are just going to rally around him at all times. So when we heard he got the job, to me, I was ecstatic. I was very happy for him. I'm happy for the Raiders organization because they got a real winner. If people can't buy into his message, they're not going to buy into anybody's message.
So you're one of the best defensive ends to ever play the game. Were you not surprised at all when you saw the Raiders defense under Antonio Pierce go to the #1 scoring defense in the NFL in just the 9 weeks
of course
that he was here?
I'm not surprised at all. Like I said, we would be on the field, and people don't know this story, but we'd be on the field. The defensive coordinator will call a play. AP would look, he'd be like, no, we're not running that, and he'd call a different play. Like, as a linebacker,
that kind of influence.
And we would do what he said we should do, right? So he's been a player. He knows the things that are going to work. I'm not surprised that the defense improved. That's what he does, and I'm really happy and really excited for him.
And he reached out to your old coach, Tom Coughlin, to come in and be a consultant. Obviously a very smart move. Everybody's seeing all their friends around here hanging out. A smart move to reach out to Tom Coughlin, and what do you think Tom Coughlin's advice could do to help the Raiders? Discipline.
That's Coughlin's main thing. That's what he preached. And then, so for me, you bring in AP's personality, the way he is, with the discipline of a Coughlin and that type of routine and that type of structure. I think overall everything is going to work, to the Raiders' benefit.
Max Crosby's on this team.
Yeah.
When you watch a young player like that, what do you like about his game? What do you respect about his game?
Max Crosby is one of probably the most skilled pass rusher in the game today. You look at the way he uses his hands. He's violent with his hands, technique. He's a true technician, and he's relentless. Talk about Defensive Player of the Year. I haven't seen a defensive player play better than him for the past couple of years, man. He's a fantastic football player. Pure effort, relentless energy, and just I would have loved to have played with. I played with great defensive linemen, some of the greatest defensive linemen I ever played, but I also would have loved to play with a guy like that. I think it would have been really cool.
And then, there's guys on this team like Malcolm Kuntz, who in his, third year, just emerged as a beast.
Yeah.
Sometimes in the
51, isn't he? Is it 51?
Yeah. Everybody knows what the number is because they see him out there. When you see a player like that and, maybe their third or fourth year just really break out, is that a tough position? As a pass rusher, is it tough to play, to learn that position in the NFL sometimes? Did it take you a while, or did you right out the gate have a lot of success?
No, I struggled initially, but I think, what happens is when you're coming out of college, usually you're just so much better than people, right?
Yeah.
So you're just overpowering them or you're running around them. Once you get to the NFL, you're no longer going to be able to do that. So it's more technique-based. And so when you have people who have excellent technique, that's when you see their game go to the next level. So I'm not surprised, if Kuntz is around Max Crosby, who is a technician, and he follows him and he listens. I learned my game from Michael Strahan, right? And
that's not a bad person to learn from.
Yeah, of course. So if you're around great players and you have that type of, mental, tenacity or dexterity to want to learn from people, you're going to take your game to the next level. And I think that's what Kuntz has done, man. He really came on. He played really well down the stretch.
And that's probably good advice for Tyree Wilson, the first-round rookie from last year, that once they switched him from, the outside to inside the line, he really had a lot more success. But real quick, Super Bowl. Who's gonna win the Super Bowl and why?
I don't know yet.
Nobody
to be honest.
knows. I feel like every year when you ask people, they'll tell you right away who they think. This is going to be a close one.
Yeah, it's going to be a close one. I don't know yet. It's I'm still thinking about it in my head. I think by Sunday I'll know for sure.
What makes Patrick Mahomes so difficult as a defensive player to get a hold of and go up against?
Well, I think first and foremost, the way he moves in the pocket, his scrambles in the pocket, his accuracy, you never know what this man is going to do. He can make every throw. He's mobile. There's nothing that he can't do on the football field, right? So you can't take anything away. You can't take away any area of the field. And then you also have to be looking at him constantly because he has that threat to be able to run. So when you have a guy like that with that type of talent, that type of, arm strength, that type of, elite mentality, it's almost inevitable that he's going to come out on top.
And you know how tough Andy Reid is. He was with the Philadelphia Eagles at the time when you were with the Giants. You played so many games against them. Osi Umenyiora, thanks for being here with us, and best of luck in your broadcast, NFL UK.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Amber.
And what he will be able to do as the Raiders head coach. Much more to come live here from Media Row as Raiders Live continues. Coming up next, we're going to hear from FanDuel's Michelle Beadle, also Brian Baldinger, and Hall of Famer Warren Sapp. That's all coming up right here as we roll along on Media Row.
To be a Raider is to be bold, powerful, and loyal.
What's a Raider? Always a Raider.
Raider Nation family is authentic, with the heart here in Las Vegas. We are often imitated, but can never be duplicated. Why?
The autumn wind is a Raider.
Because there is only one nation.
A bunch situation. Usually on bunch, you want to communicate with your cornerbacks so you don't get in a pick situation and then leave Keenan Allen wide open. Because I know you're at home saying, man, why is this dude wide open after a monster week? But you see here, it was a natural pick.
My coach always told me the linebackers are the tacklers.
Yeah.
So you know what? Block them, right?
Yeah.
Let the corners be the ones to come up and tackle, and leave the running back, the corners, and the safeties. This is a safety. Leave that one to Josh Jacobs. Block the linebacker.
You can't get much downhill than that.
The Raiders not only played with a renewed energy after a very emotional week, they covered the basics. Football 101. They won the turnover battle, and they ran the football. To talk more about it, let's go over to EA and JJ.
I'll tell you, Amber, that turnover battle is what's is what it's about here.
The coach, Bobo said we going 5 wide on y'all. When we go 5 wide, look at the middle of the field. When you go 5 wide, you know you're going to get
What is he doing? What is he doing? Check
or you are going to get man. Watch this man right here. His name is Jacoby. Yeah, I got to go. Jacoby Myers. Hey, we call that barbecue chicken.
You need to continue to see this. Strip that top arm.
Man, and if we can get this on the other side of Max Crosby,
And that's
good
what we're
luck.
looking for right there,
Absolutely.
right? Yep. Really important to be in the right position so you can make the play if the quarterback makes a mistake. Here we're going to roll it. As you see, center field safety, 2-5 in the hole. Once this pocket breaks down, he's not really a mobile quarterback, so you want to move with the quarterback and tips it overthrows, JJ.
We got to have those. Yes, they do.
They come in bunches.
They do. Well, you do know defense is cool, EA is cool, but if you don't score points, you don't win. Point blank period. And today, we put up 60. 3 of these things on these boys. But let's start it off right here. I love it. Bo, offensive coordinator, aggressive. You put trips to the right. You have to be able to account for all 3 receivers. You got your speedster, Trey Tucker, in the slot, running away. But look at the safety. Goes over here to numero 117, and you got 1-on-1, and Derwin James cannot keep up with the young fella. He told you the fastest on the Raiders. Derwin James didn't know that. Not only that, like I always tell you, EA.
No, I know you're about to say.
The receivers are not blocking down the field. It's not an explosive game. Look at Jacoby Myers down the field blocking.
We know a guy, 87, right? He has to be the focal point of our defense, particularly in zone. So we're going to triangle here. And what you have to do is every person in that triangle have to know where Kelsey is at all times. You have to almost man-to-man. You can't have your eyes in the backfield. Hobbs got to do a better job of squeezing that ball, forcing him to throw the ball to someone else coming into this football game. It doesn't matter. Just don't let this guy beat you.
Mad Max is playing at a very, very high level. Defensive player of the year.
That's
and
right.
We back to Amber. Raiders got it going. Bobo got it going. Bobo calling a good game. Taking stupid in the locker room. Everybody going dumb out here. And so is the Raiders. That's back-to-back W's. Back to you, Amber. And then look, I mean, this is a DB that he's running away from, putting a move on. I got to go. That's big time. If we can continue to get our tight ends involved like this, we're going to be all right. The only thing is I got to get him right on his celebration. Because this, we need.
You got to follow through, right?
We need something like that. So we're going to go back to you, Amber, for the first down.
It is draft season, and with that, it's our pleasure now to welcome you the Raiders NFL Draft Podcast.
This is a very exciting time. We get a chance to join the nation, Raider Nation, talk a little bit about the draft.
The Raiders very well positioned in terms of draft resources, draft capital.
This will be a fascinating watch as we get closer to the draft and kind of see how the Raiders put the pieces of the puzzle together.
We've got a lot to cover here over the next 8 weeks, and so excited to be here on this Raiders NFL Draft Podcast.
Welcome back. Raiders Live continues from Media Row, and I love catching up with all my old friends here. And Michelle Beadle, FanDuel, you can catch her over on SiriusXM, Mad Dog Radio. How are you doing?
I'm tired.
Well, join the crowd.
It's the voice that goes, because it's so dry and you're yapping for like 6 hours.
All of us are trying to maintain our voices throughout it, but that's every Super Bowl.
Love it.
You've covered these before. What's going on with you? First of all, you've got your brand new show on Mad Dog Radio with Cody Decker. When can we check that out?
So we are noon to 3 East Coast time.
Okay.
Yeah, 9 to 12 here. I'm like, where are we? 9 to 12.
What city are we in?
Yeah, and it's fun. I mean, we are, I think, month 5 of this thing. We're just trying to get to the 6th month before we get fired, and whatever happens after that's bonus. But
that's how the business goes, you know.
This has been cool. Like, this is our first Super Bowl period, and so we were thrown into the fire, and it's been an absolute blast.
What are your thoughts of Las Vegas hosting a Super Bowl, Allegiant Stadium? I mean, it is, the commissioner called it, it's becoming the sports capital of the world.
Look, as much as we always want to appoint something, the next big thing. This feels like it on a week like, you had a hockey game that was almost historic had they won. You have WWE's here. You got UFC lives here. The Aces are here who dominate the WNBA. It's crazy to me. And you have enough rooms to house any fan base times 1,000. So it's here.
I know you cover the NBA as well as all the sports. Do you think that they could get an NBA?
I think so. I mean, look, I don't doubt. Here's the thing, say what you want about LeBron James, but I feel like when he puts stuff out there, it's going to happen. So it's either when he's done or they do it now and he buys in when he's done, but yeah, it's coming.
Yeah, and we know baseball's coming here as well, so it really is becoming the sports capital of the world. So let's talk a little bit about what's happening with the Raiders. Just from the outside looking in the national media, what was your take on the crazy season that was for the Raiders?
We thought that we needed to put a petition together. We were very worried, we being myself, Cody Decker, and anyone who's sort of paying attention, that they weren't going to do the right thing, and the right thing was Antonio Pierce. And so we were very stoked when all of that became official. It's such a, we live in this weird time where we're trying to figure out what makes the best head coach. You got either a 72-year-old over here, or you've got all these young nerds with their clipboards and the math, or you got former player who these guys seem to absolutely gravitate towards and love, and the cigar parties and the sweet cars that he rides up in. I'm like, come on, man, this is a no-brainer. Don't risk it. And so when it became official, I think it just added to what was a really cool Raiders story. So now we just see how many wins can we chalk up? How many playoffs can we get to? Let's make this happen. It's a fun team to watch.
It is, because when you look around the roster, superstars.
Yeah.
They have all pro players. And when you look at that roster, you're like, this is a great situation. Usually if a new coach comes in or a new GM comes in, they're walking into a dumpster fire. Yeah. Everything went wrong. They're in last place. Everything's horrible. I feel like, especially for Tom Telesco, this is a great situation to walk into. Would you agree with looking at the stars on this team?
Yeah, it's a destination city. Like, I don't know if the NFL translates the same way NBA does, but there are definitely some cities that dudes want to go to more than others, and that's just human nature. Look, the quarterback situation, I guess we'll see.
Question mark.
I think we'll just leave that at that. But yes, it is a destination. It seems like Antonio Pierce is a guy that people are going to want. Put it this way. You know this, it's not often that people put their name on something. And when you have a guy like Max Crosby basically being like, I'm going to want to be traded if we don't keep him, that's huge.
Yeah, people underestimate.
I was proud of that.
And he wants to be a Raider for life. I think he has Raiders tattoos on him. He doesn't want to be traded.
By the way, him walking around here is a vision.
Superstar.
It's pretty fun to watch.
Did he show you his tattoos?
I saw him at another thing, and then I saw him walking with 7 people, and he's larger than life. It was kind of fun to see.
He is. He's enjoyable to cover, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And he is the face of the Raiders. And doesn't that kind of seem fitting? Because, you and I grew up at the same time period. It was always this Raiders mystique of like toughness, the bad boys, the outlaws,
the scary fans.
Yeah, and yeah, the best fans.
Yes.
Like, have you ever come to like a Raiders game from the outside covering it and how they? So I did that before I became part of Raider Nation.
Yeah.
And they were so cool. Raider Nation was so cool. Like my kids were scared because they wondered why it was Halloween. They were very confused, but at the same time, they're like, these people, they're like high-fiving us.
Love it.
Raider Nation is the best, but don't you feel like Max Crosby being the face is just so fitting of this fan base?
Yeah, he looks the part. I mean, look, even without the tattoos, he's a daunting figure. And then you add the fact that he's covered in ink, and it's just like, that is chef's kiss. Perfect.
It's like the old school
Central
Raiders.
casting. Yeah,
old school Raiders.
Well done.
So Max Crosby has been kind of a superstar, like walking around here.
Seriously.
Do you feel like we're going to find out tonight at NFL Honors who Defensive Player of the Year is? There's a lot of great names, T.J. Watt, Myles Garrett, Max Crosby. If you had a vote,
does injury, is it held against them?
I don't know. I don't have a vote, so I don't know the criteria.
I certainly don't have a vote.
I would hold injury because if you're not out there as much as the next guy.
It's crazy because, if you ask, sometimes I try to put myself in the eyes and ears of someone who maybe doesn't watch as much stuff as we do. And I feel like most people recognize Max Crosby at this point. I think he's done enough sort of other things, other events that he's a recognizable figure. I mean, Watt's got the name, of course, but I'm in. Now, does he have to give a spech? How does this work?
Yes. He will have to give a speech.
Well, then I'm rooting for this now.
How can you not root for that? I'm just sitting here watching, and it's so exciting to watch. Max Crosby has been the ambassador for the Raiders, I feel like, and especially in their move to Las Vegas. And so, I know all of us hope that he will get the call. Get the call as well. But let's talk about the game.
Yeah,
there is a Super Bowl. Yeah,
yes,
there is a Super Bowl happening. Who are you picking?
So
Why?
my heart, I want the Brock Purdy story specifically because you know how it is. Like we build people up and we knock them down, and I feel like we just knocked him down without doing the other part.
That is the best way I've heard that.
I don't know why.
Play. Yeah.
And I don't get it. And so
if he was drafted higher, do you feel like that people wouldn't be doing this to him?
I kind of do.
It's like nobody wants to buy in on the elite thing because of his draft position or something.
Absolutely. I mean, the fact that the Tom Brady situation has come and gone and he's the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
I don't know why we forgot that, or maybe it's been so long. To me, this is what a Hollywood script is made of. Like a kid who was the last dude picked is now in the Super Bowl with a chance to win. The only problem is there's Patrick Mahomes on the other side, and he's just a wizard and a magician. And, if I was putting hard-earned money on it, it'd be hard for me to go against him. But, man, the story of the Brock Purdy, and he has a good game. It can't just be like he goes out there and he gets by. He's got to be good. Man, it'll blow up some of these people's heads.
It will.
I like that.
It will. And as far as Raider Nation is concerned,
I mean,
like they hate the Chiefs, they hate the 49ers. I don't think they care.
It's in their building.
Yeah, it's in their building. They don't care either way. But with Patrick Mahomes being in the division, I think the biggest question around the entire AFC West is how do you compete with that? Like what needs to happen? Does it start with the elite quarterback in your mind?
I always think back to those teams during Michael Jordan's prime, which is a long time, and they were great teams with superstars. They were just unfortunately superstars in a window in which the greatest of all time was dominating. And when I look around, I kind of feel like that's what's happening. We have everyone's so keen on Josh Allen. They're just like, Josh Allen. I don't know that he'll ever get a shot because this dude isn't going anywhere. Yeah. And he's young. And he's got 10 more years.
It's a generational.
He really is.
Once in a lifetime. But for teams like the Raiders and the Chargers and the Broncos and the AFC West, I mean, veteran coaches all around, except for the Raiders, have Antonio Pierce. Do you feel like the Raiders could be that team that makes some noise because of the grit of an Antonio Pierce? And I keep equating it, and I do sound like a broken record, to a Dan Campbell situation.
Yes.
What happened with the Lions? They were a 3-win team.
Thank you.
In his first year. Antonio already has a 5-win team in a 9-week season.
And it seems to have the same sort of charismatic guts that you would probably buy in as a football player. I mean, I would, and I'm I'm a wimp, and I'm sitting here going, I play
You
for
could
that
play
guy in a
linebacker,
second.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
So
could play
there's
linebacker.
no reason. I love that we have the Dan Campbell comparison just sitting right in front of us, because in 3 short years, it's a culture change. And I know that word gets used so much in sports, and it does get irritating, but there's really no other way to say what that is.
But it's hard to do.
Absolutely.
You've covered a lot of teams. It's hard to do, and I think we already saw that in just a 9-week span with them. All right, we're going to play a little game for you.
Oh,
now, this is
Lord.
going to be tough. I feel like we're putting her on the spot because Michelle just admitted this is her first Super Bowl. So we play a game where these are the logos. This is Las Vegas. This is Super Bowl 58. Work your way down here, and you have a minute to try to remember what city.
I am dead.
And you have to remember, this is your first Super Bowl. So for us that have been to every one of these, all right,
Did you get this right away? Is this Miami?
No, I got it right away the first time, and then when I played the second time without the answers, I forgot. Here, you can just hold it. We're going to put a minute on the clock. Yeah, hold on.
That's the one I know.
I'm going to give you hints. I feel like I'm going to give you hints. It's not fair. Let's flip it around. You could hold it like regular.
Look at me. I'm a teacher.
Okay, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. So Las Vegas, put it at the top. Okay. The next one.
Handwriting.
Where were we last year? This time last year. Also, where the Waste Management Open is. Am I allowed to
I'm pretty
help?
sure I have Alzheimer's at this point. I just know the Roman numerals, but that doesn't mean I remember
You
where it
live in
was.
one of these cities.
That's Miami.
If you think it is, put it in there.
What if I just put Miami for the next 3 and I get one of them right?
How about there was one in the same state, wasn't there?
Was there one? Jacksonville?
Michelle was like doing NBA stuff. What were you doing at the time, Michelle? My God. Jacksonville's, oh God. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. You know what? You've been in other Super Bowls, by the way. No, you're going way back. I remember you freezing your butt off at the Dallas one.
Yeah, that's the last one I remember
That was the last one
being
you were at. Remember there was a really cold one with cold city.
Detroit?
Up north. No.
Indiana.
No.
Indianapolis.
Oh my gosh. I think you're past
You
the
don't
minute.
tell me these last 2. I swear I'm coming over there. Okay, what are they?
Okay, Michelle Beadle's going down as the worst Super Bowl game player in the history of it. I was trying to give you in Minneapolis.
Oh, Minneapolis is cold. Tampa.
Yeah, you have, and in the same state. So she got 3.
I suck.
She got 3 in a minute. So all right, no. Well, thanks for being a good story.
Do I win anything?
Let's look at the leaderboard. There.
Oh my God.
You're not even on the board.
Okay, in fairness, these are all experts. Pelissero, are you kidding me?
Rich Gannon only got 4. Steve
That
White
makes me
only
feel
got
better.
4. Solomon Wilcott's only got. Look,
That does make me
Mike
feel better.
Jones from the Athletic got 3. So it's okay.
You know what? I'm
PFF
in good
got
company
2.
there at
you
the
know
bottom.
What? Yeah, it is everybody that's stuck in this game. Good job, Michelle Beadle.
Oh my God,
Michelle, it is so fun hanging out with you. You can catch her, Cody Decker, on SiriusXM Mad Dog Radio. Also over at FanDuel. You're here with FanDuel all week as well.
With 2 NBA players, it totally makes sense.
Yeah, it totally makes sense at the Super Bowl. Thanks for being a good sport. Always
awesome.
good to catch up with you.
Oh my God.
All right, much more to come from Media Row when we come back. Raiders Live rolls on. Yeah, don't be proud of that. That's not. I would put it down.
To be a Raider is to be bold, powerful, and loyal.
Once a Raider, always a Raider.
Raider Nation family is authentic, with the heart here in Las Vegas. We are often imitated, but can never be duplicated. Why?
The autumn wind is a Raider.
Because there is only one nation.
But this season gave us no shortage of some top plays, and we go through the top 10 plays of the season with you now. Let's start off with number 10.
All right,
this is
here we
week
go.
6 against the Patriots.
Oh, yeah.
Max Crosby and
Here it
Nichols.
comes.
Woo!
Game over.
Safety.
Game over.
152 left in the game, the safety, and they say, hey, Mac Jones.
Do they have like a stat for sacks in crucial times of the game? Because he does this kind of stuff all the time, right?
That should count as 2.
It should.
At the right time.
Count as 2. That's a big time play right there by man Max. Yeah, that's all right.
That's right.
Yep, that's right.
Close it out.
And the Raiders went up 21-17. I love that.
There you go,
That's
9.
some primal stuff right there. Week 9 against the Jets. Michael
in
Mayer,
the pocket.
the big boy,
head
comes
top.
down with his first touchdown over Jets safety Jordan Whitehead.
He thought he had one, too. Head topper.
That is nice. Big Mike. We missed him the last 2 weeks.
I can't wait to see more of him next year.
I know.
I cannot wait. That is one thing to be very excited about.
That's right.
In 2024. The Raiders won that game, by the way, 16-12. Week 16 against the Chiefs. Christmas Day. There goes a big boy.
Hey, big dog touchdowns is always the best touchdowns.
Nichols.
Get out the way, Pat.
Yeah, scoop and score.
Get out the way.
Scoop and
Look
score.
At big dog pick his knees up.
Yeah, watch it.
Everybody dip on his
shoulder.
Watch out, young fella.
What a great win that was. That was the signature win for Antonio Pierce's resume that he talks about on the grass. Let's go to number 7.
Number 7.
Week 15 against the Chargers. Jacoby Myers throws it to Devontae Adams in the blowout win over the Chargers.
You throw to me, I throw to you. This equals touchdown. That's big time play right there.
It's all right, Spiral. All right.
You see the spin.
But watch him just yank it. Like, give me that ball.
Yeah, that's a rebound. It's a rebound.
They only put up 63 points that game.
60.
That was just 6.
60.
63
of them things.
Yeah, once you go over 60, it becomes a tree. It loses the R. Yeah, the R's drop.
Good creativity right there. Yep.
And what a great year Jacoby Myers has had.
Yes,
number 6, week 5 against the Packers, the Raiders. Intercepted him up 3 times.
I see you with the jump cut and the stiffy.
The Costco hoodie.
Look at Young's play.
Costco hoodie. Robert Spillane, by the way, had 2 interceptions.
Yeah, give me that
There's
too.
the other one.
Oh, tips and overthrows. Let's get it. Let's get it.
He tried to climb out of that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. I'm sorry about that, Jay. Yeah. And then finish it at the end. Yeah,
came up big. Closed it down with the interception.
Yeah, he can't even get up to celebrate.
Can't get up. He got that ball, though.
That's right.
Number 5, week 12 at the Chiefs. Can't do it without Josh Jacobs. What are we talking about?
Hit it,
63-yard touchdown run. Stiff arm. Sorry, Mike Edwards.
You can't get stiff arm like that, bro. Yeah.
Don't forget about that man. I know Zamir White is looking good. Do not forget about that man. He is special.
We need that two-headed monster. Josh is one of the best backs in the National Football League. This here is different.
Look at that.
5-yard run and 2 80-yard run. Josh can do that anytime.
Yeah, that is explosive and dynamic.
Ooh. Look forward to seeing him get healthy in this offseason.
Just give me the ball, he said.
That's what I do.
That's what he said. Just give it to me and I'll make it happen. Number 4, Devontae Adams, week 3 against the Steelers, 4th and 1, and Jimmy Garafolo finds him. They only need 1 yard.
That's it.
Yeah.
They only need 1. They got 32 and a touchdown. We'll take it. Here we go, week 10 at the Jets.
Oh, give me that.
One hand.
I only need one.
Take another look.
You know what they call that? Sticky, yicky, yicky.
I don't think that's what sticky, yicky is, but week 17 at the Colts. Another one.
That thing was on that
helmet catch on the fade.
Bicep, helmet, hands. All equal the same.
That's just being the bigger man. That's just outmanning another man right there.
We start talking about catching under duress in traffic, 50-50 balls. That's what it's all about right here.
Contested balls.
Just throw it up to him.
He'll make it happen.
He'll make it happen.
I'll take you there.
Lucky to have him. Number 3, week 15 against the Chargers, Trey Tucker, the rookie. Not just one, but he had 2 touchdowns. The first quarter, 30 yards.
Hey, that's a ball right there, though. That thing coming out spinning the right way now.
Speed kills. And he has so much of it.
And then watch this.
Yeah,
remember this part?
Round
off. Wow. Simone Biles nailed the landing.
Yeah.
That's an athlete.
That boy floating.
Here we go in the second quarter. 20 yards.
Look at it.
It would have been 100 yards if they wasn't in the red zone.
He's enjoying it too. He's another one that everybody should be excited about. He's only a rookie. Number 2 in the top plays of 2023, John Jenkins. Remember Max Crosby brought him up.
Big dog. I see ball. I get ball. I run. Look at it. Look at Big Dog running.
He clocked about 6.5 miles per hour, but he got it.
I just clocked him right now on my watch. I got 7.
Look at Malcolm Kuntz.
Oh, yeah. I got 7 miles per hour.
You got 7? I thought it was about 6.5, but we'll be generous because it was such a big play.
He got there, though.
Look at him get down on it, too.
Oh, that's a great
Knees
scoop.
up.
That's a great
Max
scoop.
is ready to block.
Yeah, look at Max. Oh, look at it. Yeah, look at it.
Everybody's excited.
I love that our editor had to speed it up. And the number 1 play of the 2023 season is Jack Jones, pick 6. In week 16, he picks up Mahomes, returns it for a touchdown. Another look. This man had just become a Raider.
Yeah.
What an addition he has been.
That's a great pick.
Hold on.
The other one,
Yeah,
though.
we just
the other
messed
one.
up.
JJ, wait.
Okay,
I'm not done
okay.
yet.
I knew
It is a 1 and a 1A. And here comes the 1A.
look
and
at this.
Give me that. I knew
That
our
is a
producers
top
was like that.
play.
I knew our producers was
That
like
is
that. I
a
knew
top
they wasn't
play
going to forget this right here.
2023.
My goodness. Hey, now.
That dude is 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and you're playing left corner,
How in the
man.
heck could Bill Belichick not figure out what to do with that man?
Thank you.
We're glad
Thank you.
that
We'll
he
take it.
couldn't.
That's
We're
special.
glad that he is a Raider. Can't wait for 2024 for Jack Jones. Back with the Raiders. Raiders Live continuing from Media Row, live from Las Vegas. Amber Theoharis, along with former Raider KJ Wright. What's happening, KJ?
I was there for a hot cup of coffee.
Hot cup of coffee, but it was an interesting year, 2021.
To say the least. A lot happened, more bad than good, but it was fun.
You made the playoffs, though.
Yes,
Made the playoffs.
Just the leadership. I give the locker room a lot of credit. And keeping the team afloat. I give Rich Bisaccia a lot of credit in his leadership and his style. And I remember telling Mark Davis, I was like, I don't know what direction you want to go in, but this needs to be the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders going forward.
Yeah, and then I think that led to Antonio Pierce. You know, it really did, because I think Mark Davis was like, I want to get this right, and really listened to the players, really polled the locker room, polled a lot of people, and came up with Antonio Pierce. And as a player, when you feel like your voice is heard by the owner, how far does that go in your mind?
That's everything. And when you look at really good teams, it's the vibe in the locker room. It's the guys happy. The guys feel like they're being heard. And players, we know. We know what we want. We know what good coaching look like. We know what bad coaching look like. And let's do this thing together. We perform well. We want to have good coaching. We want to have say-so in the practice. And that doesn't mean that we have the final say-so, but really take heed to what we want and what we feel like can make us better. And let's just go from there. And so I was really happy that Max Crosby voiced his opinion. Max got the juice. Yeah. You got the juice, Max. They'll listen to you. And he let it be known that if Pierce isn't here, then I'm not here. And so Mark Davis, you want to play those games? Let's play those games. And so I'm glad that he listened. And Antonio Pierce is the perfect coach for the Raiders. You see that he's surrounding himself around some good veteran presence in that organization. And so this team is off to a really good start this offseason, got him in the building. Now start building through the draft and free agency, and let's see what happens.
What do you think the biggest hole to fill or question mark is for the Raiders, if you can look at the roster? Because they have all pro players. They have Pro Bowlers. They've got Devontae Adams.
They have guys.
They have to make a decision on Josh Jacobs. I think a lot of people on the surface would point to the quarterback situation. Yeah. But you also know, I mean, you played with the Legion of Boom going back, didn't you? Right? Were you there at the same time with the Seattle Seahawks?
Absolutely.
Yeah, like you were part of that.
Absolutely.
And so you know what a secondary can do. And so some people point to, maybe a corner is the direction to go for this roster.
And when it comes to draft time, best player available. Best player available. Don't try to reach for a position. Don't try to reach for a guy. A lot of people have been asking me what I think Russell Wilson should go. And I'm looking at rosters. I'm looking at places. I'm like, maybe Russ can come cook in Las Vegas. Sierra have a residency here. It'll be
a residency.
It'll be perfect.
Do you know what? But not a lot of people have brought that up. And I feel like when they look at kind of free agents or trade or whatever you want to talk about when you're going with the veteran route, they point to Kirk Cousins or Baker Mayfield that might be available. But Russ Wilson, you think he still has? You played with him. Is he a Raider, though? You know the Raider. I mean,
he's not an Oakland Raider.
I think Ciara's a Raider.
He's not an Oakland Raider. He could be a Las Vegas Raider.
You think so? Okay. Because there is that mystique, and you know it.
Yes, and I looked at his body of work the first year with Nathaniel Hackett. That was not Russell Wilson. That was not the guy that I'm accustomed to seeing. That's not the quarterback that we all fell in love with. But last year, he did take a step forward in being the guy that we all know that Russell Wilson can be. Made a lot of plays. He used his legs well. Was doing pretty good until Sean Payton lost his mind and was throwing him under the bus any chance he could.
Yeah.
And so, yes, let Russ go to the Raiders, and I think that That'll be a match made in heaven. I don't think he'll get traded. He may have to get released, and we'll see what happens.
You've been involved, as we just said, Legion of Boone. You know, I know you weren't in the secondary, but some of those great Seattle Seahawks tough defenses that went to the Super Bowl. And what does it take? I mean, you saw the Raiders under Antonio Pierce at the second half of the season, and the defense become the #1 scoring defense in the NFL under him in that period of time. What does it take? What are the key components of a championship caliber defense?
Our biggest recipe was our love for one another. We loved each other like no other. We respected each other's body of work and the way that we held each other accountable. If you weren't on your job, if you were slacking, you were watching film the way you're supposed to, we let it be known. There's a certain standard when you step on this football field, especially on defense. And we had this motto that defense wins championships. We got to create turnovers, create sparks throughout the game, give the offense the ball back. And yeah, we went to the Super Bowl. We went to the New York Giants facility, and they had this goal up there: keep opponents under 21 points. 21 points or if we don't let you 21 points. I was like, 21 points.
Yeah, championship defenses are.
That's too many points. And so just the mentality of other teams across the league compared to ours. We was in a class of our own, a league of our own. And you saw what we did for 4 years straight, Amber.
Yeah.
It was the #1 defense in the NFL.
I covered them all.
Yes.
And you know what? I know Raider Nation still has love for you. Remembering going to the playoffs in 2021. By the way, we can catch your podcast, KJ, all day.
Yes.
It is a great listen. As you can tell, KJ has a lot of opinions. But I wish we had more time with you, but you're too popular. You gotta go do your business around here.
One more question, are we good?
You want one more question?
One more question.
All right, one more question.
I want to put you on the spot.
He's hosting me. I did coach you in NFLPA broadcast boot camp, didn't I?
You did.
I like that. As far as the Raiders are concerned, what is it going to take for them to compete in the AFC West?
The obvious. You have Jim Harbaugh coming in, who anywhere he's gone, he's been successful. He's always won. He's always competed. When he was with the Niners, obviously what he just did with Michigan. And you have Andy Reid and Patty Mahomes. But at the end of the day, you're aware of your opponents. You're aware of what they're doing. But let's focus on ourselves. Let's focus on what do we need to do. How can we get better when it comes to stopping the run? How can we get better to making sure Devontae Adams get back to the guy that we love and respected for all these years? Can we get Josh Jacobs back to what he was when he led the league in rushing just 2 years ago? So there's so many things that they need to focus on, and I believe that when you look at Antonio Pierce and when you look at a Coughlin, what those guys are going to do, they have the blueprint to winning championships. So they're going to take what they did in the past, bring it to 2024, and a lot of magic is going to happen.
I love that, and I'm going to squeeze one more in for you because you're a linebacker, and I don't think the linebacker core and the transformation that they made for the Raiders gets enough attention because Max Crosby and Malcolm Kuntz kind of took over the narrative. But Robert Spillane, he's a guy that's been in the NFL. What did he do for this Raiders defense?
Number 41?
Yeah.
With the visor?
Yeah.
Dog. He's a dog. I remember any time that I watched the Raiders, he was making plays, talking his smack, running sideline to sideline, just really being a good, solid running back, stopping the run and in pass defense. And so I just look at what he brings to the table. And him and Divine Diablo, two really good special talents. I talked to Diablo after the season because I played with him my last year with Vegas. And so for these two guys to be a dynamic duo, he's that man in the middle, that force up front, really just set the tone when it comes to you're not throwing the ball my way, you're not running the ball up the middle, and we're really going to just elevate everyone's game around me. I'm really excited to see him take another step forward to being an outstanding linebacker.
I know, in Patrick Graham's defense and another year in that system because he was new to it last year. KJ, it has been so much fun catching up with you.
I'm glad I came.
Congrats on all your success. KJ, all day. Check out the podcast. Thanks. All right, still to come here on Raiders Live from Media Row, it's our good friend Brian Baldinger from NFL Media. He is going to break down the Raiders roster and some offseason moves they should be looking at. That's coming up on Raiders Live.
You're listening to Upon Further Review. I'm your host, Eddie Paskal.
Good morning, Raider Nation.
Welcome to Raiders Roundtable. JT along with Eddie Paskal.
He dissects the play quickly and makes the move to the football.
Hey Raider Nation, my name is Lexi. I'm from Santa Clarita, California, and this is my second season with the Raiderettes. A goal that I think I have accomplished as a Raiderette this season is just to believe in myself more. I want people to know that with hard work and with people who support you and believe in you, that any dream can be achievable. I struggle at finding the confidence in just my abilities and knowing that I am good enough to be here, and I think this season was kind of like a self-reflection for me. I finally made it to a professional team, and winning Rookie of the Year was one of the most special moments I think in my life so far, because I didn't think that it would be me. I had so many amazing teammates, and then to have all of them recognize me and see how hard I work was really special, because I don't think I ever really realized the effort and just how much I want things. I just am so focused on nitpicking myself or being very doubtful of my performance, so that it was just kind of a breath of fresh air. I'll cherish being Rookie of the Year forever, and I'll never forget all those special interactions I had with each of my teammates after it happened. It's the sweetest feeling ever to know that all your hard work has been worth it. Thanks for watching Raider Nation. Just win, baby. Go Raiders.
Intercepted down the sideline.
We told the state of Nevada,
Touchdown!
that you're getting more than a football team.
The highest point total in Raiders franchise history.
You're getting an army.
You got to stay involved no matter what it is.
We have a commitment to this community.
And working in the community is the thing that we do the best.
One night, one cause, one nation. Be there as we put the helmets down and our hands out in support of Nevada. Introducing the inaugural Las Vegas Raiders Foundation Silver and Black Gala, featuring players, coaches, alumni, and entertainment. Join us in providing help and hope to those struggling with mental health issues. Secure your spot today.
Welcome back to Raiders Live from Media Row at the Super Bowl right here in Las Vegas. And as far as national media is concerned, there is no one analyst that has been a bigger proponent of the Raiders and their potential, not just on offense, but also on defense. He's a great friend of Max Crosby's. Brian Baldinger of NFL Media never hesitates to break it all down on Baldy's breakdowns, and he stopped by our set a little bit earlier. Joined now by NFL Media's Brian Baldinger, of course, offensive lineman, veteran. You guys know him and love him from Baldy's Breakdowns.
Yes.
That was fun when we did that on the Silver and Black show.
Well, we did that, I don't know, like when you were kind of turning the season around after AP took over, I think.
That's right.
But it was a little bit more fun when you're winning.
Baldy, I get to talk to you. I love that you're one of the great football minds, one of the best football minds out there right now as far as analysis. And while everybody's talking about these big storylines of Antonio Pierce and they're talking about Tom Telesco, you really know about the trenches, you know about all the players. So let's dig deep into this Raiders roster right now. In your opinion, because they were like this at the end of the season, 5-4, really picked up momentum. Antonio Pierce is there. They're keeping Patrick Graham, got Luke Getsy now.
Yep, Rob Leonard.
If you could look and say, this is what the Raiders need to do in the draft and free agency to really fill out this roster, what would be your opinion?
I thought, Malcolm played really good at the end opposite Max, and I saw Tyree improve. I saw the whole defense play with the energy that Max plays with. So you could tell it was contagious. And so, it depends on how patient you want to be and develop some of these guys. There's defensive ends in this draft. There's defensive tackles that can change the game. They got every position
Ian,
right here.
Ian Rappaport, good to see you, my friend.
What's up, Ian?
How you doing? I'm mad you didn't do it with me. But Ian, where's your phone? How many batteries do you have right now?
They said, listen.
I only have 48%. Not good. 48%, not good. I got to charge.
Oh, you're already panicking.
ABC. What's the scoop of the day, Ian Rappaport? Any Raiders news?
Well,
That was it.
Okay.
That was the Ian Rappaport hit.
I feel like they've got, like I thought the signing of the safety was really, really important this year from Philadelphia. Like I thought he played really well. James really came on at corner. I just think you're always looking to tinker. I think they could still use a right tackle. You know, in the draft, this is the best draft for tackles I've seen in a long, long time.
Who do you like? Who do you like at tackle?
I mean, I like Olu right there. I like, you know, there's 8 of them. You go to Washington State, you go to Oregon State. They're all out there right now. I mean, Joe Alt out there right now at Notre Dame. The right tackle opposite him at Notre Dame is probably a 3rd or 4th round pick that has a chance of being really, really good.
I feel like corner's a position for the Raiders where they could see an upgrade as well.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, if you want an elite corner, you got to, I mean, I got to know Devin Witherspoon this year. The guy was the #1 corner last year and played
awesome.
like it.
Yeah.
And he played actually like a Raider for Seattle. I mean, the way that he hit, attacked, the way that he, you know, let people feel his punch, he felt like a Raider to me. I think there's still something to that mystique. Tell
me what is that mystique? Define it. What does like a Raider mean?
Well, you sort of have an outlaw mentality, the way Max does. You sort of say, well, the 31 teams in the league are going to go that direction, but we're going to do it our way and go this direction. Like it's just the individualism that some teams don't allow their players to play with. Like that was a problem with the old regime that got blown out. Like you got to let players be themselves, and however that is, I mean, maybe you could be knuckleheads off the field. Like you just you got to allow the personality to come out onto the field.
What's your take on the linebacker core? I mean, having a guy like Robert Spillane really made a difference. It felt like in that Raider mentality. He felt like a Raider, right? And he brought that toughness. But also Diablo.
Diablo's been good.
Luke Masterson, a good young linebacker. What's your opinion on that core?
I thought they had some stability there for the first time, Amber. They, you know, going back to, you know, no offense, but going back to Mike Mayock and just the transition every year of linebackers, they overhauled it. I thought, you know, Devine, I think is in his 3rd year, 2nd or 3rd year.
Yeah.
Like he's still a young player, but he's out there. And I thought exactly what you saw from Spillane, you know, whether he's in the pass defense or run defense, I think he showed up.
Yeah, and look at a guy like Jack Jones. That was the first AP hire we saw, you could say, as far as a player.
Yes.
It was the first player that Antonio Pierce picked, and, you know, the Patriot way was not for Jack Jones. And then it seems like he's a Raider. He has 2 pick-6s in back-to-back games. Do you think we'll see more of those kind of types of players that Antonio would be more open to than maybe other organizations?
Well, Jack Jones looked like he played like a Raiders. Like he probably has some things he's got to mature about and grow up about. But as far as playing on the field, like that guy plays the game fast and loose. You know, he takes chances. And, you know, he's got tremendous skill. I mean, his ability to put the foot in the ground and break on a ball is elite. Like he's got that part. Now, nobody's invincible out there on the corner, but you want the quarterback to have a little bit of fear about throwing it out there.
I think you do if you're looking at Jack Jones. How about on the offense? You're an offensive guy. You're an offensive lineman. Looking at, I feel like everybody talks about Davante Adams because you know what you get with Davante Adams. He's going to have a 1,000-yard season. But Jacoby Myers, I feel like, is the underrated receiver on this core. And then looking forward to having Trey Tucker, the young speedster, in his 2nd year. I think this could be one of the, and Michael Mayer, you throw in the tight end, this could be one of the great kind of pass-catching cores that you have in the NFL.
But even if you talk, like, I thought Zamir White really got a chance and took advantage of it when Josh went down.
Yeah,
like
Zamir White, and he can catch out of the backfield.
But he ran, though. So, you know, I think Trey Tucker looked like he could take the top off defenses. Jacoby's just so dependable.
Yeah.
And so when Davante gets the attention that he deserves, Jacoby picked it up. And so I said all year long, mockingly, that the Patriots' best receiver was playing with the Raiders.
I mean, Jacoby Myers is a 1 somewhere else.
Well, I mean, he was the 1 in New England, and they let him walk, and they didn't have a 1. They didn't have a number 2.
Yeah.
I mean,
they didn't have a plan.
They look like
That's why they are where they are.
I mean, there's a reason why, you know, there's all these changes right there. But they look like a bad expansion team. But Jacoby is the one guy that, even the year where he didn't score a touchdown, but he had all the catches, like he was a dependable player.
Tell me the difference between re-signing Josh Jacobs, because there's a choice, right? You can re-sign Josh Jacobs, you're going to have to pay him, or you put your investment into Zamir White. But Zamir White isn't Josh Jacobs. So where do you think Tom Telesco and Antonio Pierce's head is as far as what kind of thought process do you have to go through in making that decision?
It's the ultimate conundrum right now, Amber. The Giants are faced with it with Saquon. Look, if the Chiefs win another Super Bowl and it's with Pacheco again, and here's your 7th round running back out of Rutgers, you can find these guys in every round.
Yeah.
You don't know what they're going to be until they get.
Yeah.
So, but we know what Josh is. Josh is going to give you yards after contact. He's going to be the heart and soul. He's going to have a smile on his face every day. There's going to be things that you're just going to love about Josh that you might not get in somebody else. And sometimes you got to pay for that. Now, what is the fair deal? Like, is it Christian McCaffrey's money? I don't.
I think that contract's passed. I think that's not what running backs are going to get.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I mean, it may be 12.
Derrick Henry this year.
Maybe 12 million, 13, 14 million
I mean,
a
you
year.
have to look at what the market is. And the market, look, they weren't happy with it last year, obviously. But then you saw all the injuries at running back, and you just go, this is why the market is what it is.
It is. I know you love a good tight end. You mentioned Michael Mayer. He's one of the most exciting players on this roster to me because I just feel like there's so much meat on the bone. We started to see it in his rookie season. But I'm telling you, whoever plays quarterback for the Raiders, having a tight end like that can win the contested balls, the 50-50s are going to go to him. They're going to be 70-30s.
Well, he's got great size. He's a true Y. He can block. He's a good blocker. It's not like you have to hide him. There's some guys can't block their shadow in this business. But he's a good blocker, and I think he's going to get better. But I saw him against Khalil Mack. He looked just fine going up against some of the outside linebackers in this business. So I think they've got a guy, and it was a great tight end draft. There was a lot of good ones. We knew it was going to be, and it turned out to be one. So the Raiders got theirs.
Yeah. Let's talk about the offensive line, because there could be a lot of turnover. Andre James is a free agent. Jermaine Illuminor is a free agent. What is your take on the Raiders' offensive line? Where could they upgrade? And you said already at tackle. It's a deep tackle draft.
Okay. Like, I love the left guard. The left guard showed you he can play center. He can play left guard.
Dylan Parham
out of Memphis. Like, I love Dylan.
Yeah, he's set.
He's entrenched. And that's really where you want to get your guards. Like, I don't know if he was a 3rd or 4th round pick, Amber, but he was right there.
Yeah.
It's kind of like where you want to get these guys. Do your homework. He's a wide body. He stays on his feet. He's got good bounce. Like, I just think
if Thayer Munford, who is a young player, he's still learning.
He had some. He's in the mix. He's in the mix. You need depth. The center position is really key. If you look at Kansas City, they would not be here or last year without Creed Humphrey. Like, they found absolute gold in the 2nd round.
He was a high draft pick, second round.
He was a 2nd round pick at Oklahoma, and he has played every snap for 3 years in a row. And he loved. And Trey Smith, was a 6th round pick. They had blood clots coming out of Tennessee. But they fixed their offense line in 1 year. One off season, they fixed it. And those 3 guys in the middle with Tooney, they're as good as anybody in this business. So my point is about whether it's Andre or whoever, you've got to have a strong center. If you don't have a strong center, you're not going to be great. You're not going to be a great running team. You're not going to be good in short yardage, and your quarterback is going to struggle.
The Raiders definitely, their offensive line will probably look different. A bigger question in the AFC West. You look around. Antonio Pierce is coaching now against Jim Harbaugh, Andy Reid, and Sean Payton.
I know.
What is it going to take, not for Antonio, but for the Raiders to keep it? I mean, look, everybody in that division has to keep pace with the Chiefs. The Chiefs are the best team in the AFC. What do you think it'll take to kind of, where do you think those 3 teams, let me put it this way, are as far as what Denver has coming up, what the Chargers could look like? They have their quarterback set. Now they've got Jim Harbaugh, a quarterback guy. Where do the Raiders kind of match up of who you think could actually make a run at the Chiefs in the near future? That's who everybody's looking up at.
I know. And, they've got Mahomes, and he separates them from it. Because, you beat the Chiefs, obviously, on Christmas, and Denver beat them this year, and they caught them. So it's not like they're invincible now. Like, they seem like the AFC West, which they just owned them. But, there's a little crack there. But they got Mahomes. That's a big deal. But the thing that's been proven about Sean Payton and with, Jim Harbaugh is they're proven winners. They know how to build a foundation, an organization, a team that can compete each and every year. They know how to build that. They have the blueprint for it. That's what AP wants to do. That's what he has shown that he can get 53 to kind of really come together and just think alike, play together, really become the airtight family you got to be. So, but he has never done it.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not doubting.
I could see him and the Raiders being like Dan Campbell and the Lions. Like, we're going to come, we're going to bite your ankles, and then we're going to be the team that nobody wants to face, and then we're going to go to the championship game in a 3-year span.
No,
I feel like that could happen.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
It's fair comparison. I mean, you're seeing, the younger and younger former players get to the head job younger and younger.
Yep.
Gerard Mayo, just go through the list right now.
Yeah.
Harbaugh's a former player. So, these former players are getting these jobs. Now, how early, when are they ready? But it looked like Antonio was ready. Like, the team changed instantly, and the defense changed instantly. And they got Josh the ball more regularly. Like, just basics.
Yeah.
Like, they got that. But then, just the psychologist of AP, reading body language and understanding, this is a job you have to love.
Yep, and he loves it. And I love you, Baldy. It's good to hang out with you, my friend.
Thanks.
Good to see you. You can check him out, NFL Media, Baldy's Breakdowns on X and all over social media.
Sports over there, all over the place.
That's right. What's the name of your podcast, real quick?
All City, All Football, the All Football Podcast with Anthony Gargano.
All Football. All right, check it out.
Yeah.
Thanks, Baldy.
Thank you, Andy.
And all the stars are continuing to roll through Media Row. Coming up, former Raider and Hall of Famer Warren Sapp stops by the set to give his thoughts on the Raiders. That's coming up next right here on Raiders Live from Media Row at the Super Bowl in Las Vegas.
Do what we do. Come on. Come on, man. Put me in, coach. Put me in. Let's go. Let's be great today, young. Come on. Have a good one, my boy. You know what time it is, baby. Come on. Have a good one. Do what we do, folks. 1-3, let's do, baby. Have a good one, man. Let's go, 11. Show up. You see? Come on. Come on. It's that mindset. Big Joe, you see? Big dog. I got you. Come on. Come on, man. From day one. Let's go. Own that. Own that. Own that. Get him red. Yes, sir. Gentleman's handshake. Yes, sir. Let's go, 2-0. Let's go, 2-0. Come on, man. Appreciate you. Do what you do, man. Have fun, man. Come on. Have fun. We can be difference makers in a lot of ways, right? A lot of ways. A lot of ways. A lot of ways. We up. We're rolling. We rolling. Let's go, big dog. Run that like you mean it that night now. Run that. Woo! Kick off now, boys. Time to play. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Appreciate you, all right? Let's go. Thank you. Woo! Woo! Got hit with that Ric Flair.
I'm feeling juice right now, like I ain't felt. Like
you?
I
like that's why I said control it now. We gotta control it a little bit. D up! D up! Where the cover? That's how you set the tone, man. Good job. Good job. That bring it. I like it. Get that juice. I see you. Come on, let's go. Come on, come on, come on, come on. We're up. Good job, D. Good job. Where to start, man? Where to start? We're up first, baby. We're up.
Connell's under center. Snap. It's a handoff to the receiver. Myers are on the left side. 15-10. Block from Adams. Cuts inside.
Yeah.
Touchdown, Raiders.
Yeah, let's go. God damn it. That's how we do that. Good man. Oh, good stick. Run! Run alert! Run alert! Here we go. We good? Come on. Come on. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on, man. We good. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Y'all getting the ball. Good field position. Let's do what we do now. Come on. We got ball. Good field position. Come on. We got the ball. Good field position. Now let's roll. TV after this. We got a TV, okay? TV timeout. Here we go. How you feeling? That more easier than this one in the first one. And we at home, so. Keep doing what you're doing, baby. Be smart. Good. We're good. Good job. That's good. We're good. We're good. That's good. That's good. Run that off. That's good. Good. We're good. Smart football, big dog. Smart. Good job. Good. Good shit, baby. We good. We good. Come on. Come on. We good. We good. We good. Come on. Come on. We good. We good. Come on. Good job, man. Just look at him. I want to touch him. Can we run this in 2 plays in a row?
Yeah.
We about to run it?
Yeah.
If we don't, can we run it again?
Yeah, we
okay.
can. Tell them don't
That's
worry
what I want to
about
do. That's what I said.
O'Connell is under center. He gives it to Jacobs, following the offensive lineman at the goal line. Touchdown!
That's different. That's different. That's different. That's different. That's different. Good job, big dog. The physicality is all about, man. Good. Good. Wasn't even blinking, man. Hell of a job. Me. Let's go, man. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. Work this rookie now. Come on. Work this.
Play action for DeVito with pressure up the middle. Steps up into the pocket. Down the middle of the field. Into double coverage. Intercepted Amik Robertson. At the 2, no one touched him. Down to the 15. Up to the 20. Still on his feet at the 30. 35 cuts upfield. And finally brought down at the 40.
Yes, sir. Good job, fellas. Is that good, man? Good. Hell of a job. Keep going. Come on, we're almost there. Good tackle. Yeah. Let's go. Close. Come on, man. Come on. Match the energy. That's what I've been asked for all night. That's my favorite play. That's my favorite play.
Antonio Pierce, nobody knew what to expect today, and yet you told me 5 times this week, it's going to be a show. What happened this week off the field that made you think it was going to translate like this on it?
I mean, these guys got it in them. They came to work. You know, it was a dark day. They bounced back. They went outside practice. But more importantly, you know, they became themselves. You know what I mean? Like, we had some really good football players here. They put it together as a team. That's the best thing about it.
You've won some big games. You are a Super Bowl champion. But I'm asking this question to 7-year-old Antonio from Compton, California, who told me his whole life was Kings and Raiders football. Right. How does this win differ from everything else?
Best one. Raiders! That's all I wanted.
You told me at halftime you were surprised how fast your heart was beating. Yeah. What did it feel like today?
It felt great. It's not beating as fast right now. A lot of joy in here. I want to celebrate with my team.
Go. Congratulations.
Let's go. Thank you. Appreciate it. Hell yeah! We talk that right now.
Welcome back to Raiders Live from Super Bowl 58 here in our own hometown of Las Vegas, Nevada. Eddie Paskal back with me, Amber Theoharis, as we continue to see all the celebrities rolling around. And have you been walking around the town and heard that Raiders call that we've heard from Antonio Pierce? It's been fun to see it here in all the hotels during the Super Bowl as well. But one man that wore the Raider uniform, you remember a guy named Warren Sapp?
I do vaguely.
Vaguely.
Yeah,
he's got the gold jacket.
Yeah, big personality. Yeah. I think I know who you're talking about.
Big personality is, to put it lightly. I had a chance to catch up with him a little bit earlier and ask him about the quarterback situation here in Las Vegas. You were part of some great defenses and in Tampa Bay, and you know what it takes, right, to win championships. And it was always defense and running the football, right? But I feel like now in today's NFL, you got to have that franchise elite quarterback. We're looking at Patrick Mahomes here in the Super Bowl. Do you feel like the days of, okay, run the football and have a great defense, can you win a championship that way, or is it the game changed? It's dead.
Defense does not win championships, ladies and gentlemen. Defense gives you a chance, and your $100 million quarterback wins it for you. Right? Because that's why we keep up with fourth quarter and overtime comeback and wins. I don't know how many sacks I got that ended the game. No one keeps that. But I have. I got a couple. I got a couple sacks that impacted the game. But it's the quarterback in a 2-minute drill. I remember Tony Dungy back when he first started teaching us. We do Thursday and we end Thursday practice with a 2-minute drill. Ones versus the ones. Minute 30 on the clock. One time out, they need a field goal. Every time I look at the NFL, it's 151, one time out, they need a field goal. I'm like, boy, was that man so poetic in what he taught and how he taught the game that it will never change. But the running back is obsolete now. Because there's no more Marshall Faulks and LaDainian Tomlinson and Roger Craig's walking around.
I know, and they're just not quite getting paid because
CMC is the closest thing we have to it.
And there's not, and
he ain't
not,
got 1,000 in 1,000.
Exactly, and he's not even getting the amount of carries that
he's
those
about to
guys
get to
used
the edge
get.
and do this.
Yeah,
just fall right off.
The game has changed, that's for sure.
It's quarterback driven.
It is quarterback driven.
Quarterback driven, and you're going to need some guys to catch it.
And knowing that, the Raiders, that's a big question mark for the Raiders. AOC is young, O'Connell's young, and I think no matter what, they'll bring in another quarterback. And you're in the college ranks now. Do you like, who's the best quarterback, in your opinion, coming out in this draft that maybe could come to the Raiders? Do you like Jaden Daniels? Do you like Caleb Williams? Who's your guy?
Oh, I'm not a quarterback evaluator.
No? You
got to get me down. You got to get me down. You got to get me down in the trenches. You just made my mouth water.
Yeah.
You just made my mouth water talking about all them quarterbacks.
You're like, I tackled them.
I'm talking about my guy that won the Lombardi, the Tua kid from UCLA. I like him, big, like long kid. Long, a young man with long levers, and someone has to teach him, because I remember Russo at the University of Miami didn't look like he was going to be a player. He came to the league, and somebody explained to him what long levers can get done, and he's turned himself in quite of a player. So it depends on what you want to do and how you want to develop your players.
Who are some of the best defensive linemen that you look at in the game today that you're like, okay, respect?
Oh, Aaron Donald's the elite that goes, and Jalen Carter in Philadelphia is, young, scratching the surface, but he needs to work on his conditioning, because if you can't play more than 39 plays, son, you're not valuable to your team. Him and the other Davis kid from Georgia, they got a can't wait to eat problem, not can't wait to play. You got to get yourself in shape.
The Eagles
they got to get in shape. They got to get in shape.
They drafted all the Bulldogs.
Yeah, but you got to get in shape.
Let's talk about the Super Bowl. Who's winning the Super Bowl?
Listen, let's go back to the last Super Bowl where Pat Mahomes was attacked and didn't score a touchdown. It was down in my house in Tampa.
That's right.
31-9. And I still remember him doing a Houdini act in the pocket. And he hit Tyreek Hill right between the eyes with a ball. If he'd have caught it, Todd Bowles stopped blitzing, and we got a whole different game. That young man, Patrick Mahomes, I don't know I know the plan to beat him, because
What's the plan? You're the defensive coordinator.
I would be the tip of the spear, but I don't think they have many of those, and Aaron Donald ain't here either.
Yeah.
You got to create a pass rush on him, and San Francisco definitely don't have it with their two defensive tackles.
Leave it up to Warren Sapp to always tell the truth. Let's go back to your years with the Oakland Raiders. You remember the Oakland Raiders for 4 years. What do you remember about, because Raider Nation, that's our fan base here. What's up, Raider Nation? You say what's up to them?
Always. Once a Raider, always a Raider.
Once a Raider, always a Raider. What do you remember about the fans, about Raider Nation, and how they were with you? I mean, it's a crazy, insane, dedicated, loyal fan base.
I got to just give it to you. I had no idea what Raider Nation was until I got to be a Raider. And boy, it was one of those special times in a special place with special people, because you have to understand, there's 26 Raider stores up and down California. And the nation travels and spans the globe. I mean, I remember growing Tampa's fan base to where it was, but if I would have had something like this when I was young, and oh my God.
It is. It's the best fan base in the world.
It ain't even close.
Yeah.
Dallas is delusional, but Raiders are real.
Now, do you know Antonio Pierce?
Yes.
Do you know him at all?
Yes.
What can you tell us about him?
Me and Jesse Armstead basically said we raised him.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, good guy. I had him on speed dial when he was at UW. I had him on speed dial way up before he got to the Raiders. So when he went to be the head coach, I went to go see him. I came out for F1, and I called him up. I was like, I'm on my way to practice. I got to come see you, baby. I got to come hug your neck, because that's the fraternity of players that we have to support, because they always said the players couldn't coach. But I think there's something to be said when you walk in a locker room and say, son, I've been here.
Yes.
I've been there on that Sunday. Dan Campbell, Gerard Mayo.
That's what's working now.
And Antonio Pierce. We're about to see, because they've always said that to be a good player, great player, I don't think you got the ability to coach. Why not?
Who would understand the game better, right?
I don't think they want us in the building.
That's because you, especially the defensive linemen, you guys keep it a little too real sometimes.
We keep it loud, noisy. We rush in the pass.
You were a Super Bowl champion. You know what it takes. You're a Hall of Famer.
I was. You can't take that away from me.
You will always be a Super Bowl champion.
Thank you.
Hall of Famer.
Yes,
you got that jacket. What is the type, and Antonio says, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get dogs. I'm going to get Raiders. And that carries a certain, everybody when you say he's a Raider, it's a grit, it's a guy that's a dog. What would you define as that type of player that you think Antonio?
Blistering in the sun.
Do you remember it? Do you remember it?
Knock him around.
The autumn wind is a Raider.
Autumn wind is a Raider.
What is the type of player you think Antonio Pierce, especially defensive player? We saw him bring in Jack Jones, and Jack Jones went off.
I think the one
what type
thing,
of player?
I think the one thing he's talking about, a player that's dedicated, motivated, and want to play and love this game. Because I think that's the one thing that this new generation, they're so quick at WYA and WYD. You know, there's no meaning to any of these things. You know what I'm saying? They're so quick to give you the Google answer and the Wikipedia answer. I'm like, son, Google is where you ask questions. Warren is where you get answers. I don't have time for this. You know what I'm saying? This is life experience. You know what I'm saying? So I think you just want players that love the game and want to work. And sometimes that's missing.
Yeah, sometimes it is missing.
Because the check is so big.
Your checks were all right.
$6 million compared to 31.
It's a little different. I guess it's a little bit different.
That's what Aaron Donald with me, 31, and I had 6.
That's right, 31.
Yeah. And you know, I ration it out to people because they're like, man, that's crazy. I say, Aaron Donald's not 6 times the player I am, making 6 times the money. Yeah. But I'm not.
Just different era,
6 times. I'm not. He's 5 times the player, and I say 5 gets to 30, and I say I'm not 6 times the player Joe Green was because he only made 1, and I made 6.
That's true. That's true. You can do it like
that's how
one last question. Huh? You've seen the stadium, Allegiant. This is Vegas, showing off Vegas. This beautiful, the Death Star. What do you think about it?
Nothing better.
Isn't it beautiful?
Just knock up the temperature a little bit.
Oh, it's too cold for Warren Sapp?
Yeah, I'm a Florida boy. The equator, the tropical Cancer, and the tropical Capricorn runs through the heart of Africa. My people subtropical. Please raise the temperature.
Hall of Famer Warren Sapp. I forgot how much I missed you, my friend. It is good to see you again. Congratulations.
Thank
and
you,
hey, tell Shedeur Sanders, Raiders, maybe we can get Shedeur when he comes out in the draft next year.
I see. You see.
I'm recruiting. I knew Shedeur when he was tiny. I knew him then.
Yeah.
All right, good to see you, my friend.
Always.
And of course, referring to the fact that right now Warren Sapp is going to be at Colorado with Deion Sanders coaching the defense over there. So I was trying to recruit Shedeur Sanders, who's going to be one of the best quarterbacks coming out next year in the draft. But Warren Sapp knows what it takes not only to be on a great defensive line, but for a championship, one of the best defenses. You could almost argue it was the best defense when they won the Super Bowl in 2002. Of course, Raiders remember that. But we were going back through history. I mean, Derek Brooks, Simeon Rice, Rondé Barber, John Lynch, who's the GM of the 49ers playing in the Super Bowl, were all on those Warren Sapp defenses, that Warren Sapp defense. And so they know what it takes to be championship caliber. And I think what we saw from the Raiders defense this year, we saw a step forward, not just a step, a leap forward in a short amount of time. Does it make you excited about, especially the defensive line? The way the defensive line came together, it looked like a completely defensive line from the first couple of weeks to the last.
Oh, 100%. And real quick, though, let's lift the veil, Amber, because you and I were trying to go through the Hall of Famers on that Bucs defense. Yeah. You went 5 for 5.
I went for 5 off the top of my head.
Thank you.
I was like,
no notes, no Google. I know Warren saying, he goes, Google's go for questions. Warren goes for the answer. Well, you had the answers on that one.
Yeah, I'm Allen Iverson. Just
that was good, though. But, you know, looking at that at Raiders defense, and I think we've talked about it so much, but it's a conversation that we have to keep talking about. Patrick Graham deserves so much credit for what he did going into last year. Because, and look, you and I think, are really good at keeping our ear to the fan base and understanding what they're talking about, what they like, what they're concerned about. And there were a lot of folks who were vocally very concerned about what the Raiders defense was going to look like and feel like in 2023.
Yes.
And then fast forward to the end of December, early January, and the Raiders defense was the catalyst for their success. And again, I know I'm going to say it time and time again, Patrick Graham deserves so much credit for that. But the Raiders defensive line, one of the strengths of this team, and is there room for them to get better and for them to improve? Absolutely, but you have to feel good about where they're situated here in early February.
And Max Crosby said they really started, they eat dinners together every Thursday, and you know, it's about closeness sometimes with groups that work closely to. Osi Umenyiora said we were super close in that Super Bowl team. We loved each other, and that's what it takes. But the Raiders do have some free agents on the offensive line. They've got Bilal Nichols is coming up. These are unrestricted free agents.
And I'd love to see Bilal back in silver.
I would love to see him as well. But there's decisions. Adam Butler, who really came came on at the end of last year as a free agent, as well as John Jenkins as well. And if, you can't keep them all, especially in free agency. Defensive linemen cost money. But when we have a chance to look at some of the available free agents, those are all the Raiders free agents right there. So the roster's always going to look different. It's always going to look different the next year.
It's great, Amber, though, that the fact that we can have that conversation about who do we need to bring back, right? It feels like it's been a while since we could have a substantive conversation about Raiders upcoming free agents that needed to come back. And we talked about 3 guys there you just named on the interior of the Raiders defensive line. And I was honest, like, I would love to have all 3 of those dudes back. I think they were a great rotation. I think by the end of the season, all of those guys were contributing in a variety of different ways. And you need to, we see it every single year. Look at the 2 teams playing here on Sunday. Depth along the defensive line. You have to have multiple waves that you can send at these really good quarterbacks now.
Look at the free agents available, though. There are some names on that. I mean, Danielle Hunter is a free agent right now. Justin Matabike from the Ravens had a phenomenal, he's going to cost a lot of money. Number 1 right there, Chris Jones. He's playing in the Super Bowl. The the Raiders know him very well. He's a free agent. So if the Raiders want to spend some money on their defensive line, there are some really viable candidates right there.
And you and I were talking about this yesterday, Amber, about the fact that where the Raiders currently exist in terms of where the cap exists. And Tom Talisco, at least from what we're seeing, right, and we have to give the catalyst, but there's always a little wiggle room on either end. It looks like he's going to have the ability to go make some additions to the team. And defensive line is one area I would love to see a little more depth going into 2024.
Yeah, I think that's everybody agrees on that one for sure. And shout out to Rob Leonard coming back, and then Rob Ryan as well. So keeping some of this defensive staff together under Patrick Graham is a great move. Yeah, continuity. Keep it going. Keep the momentum going. All right, we're going to take a break here on Raiders Live. When we come back, we're going to take a look. Some of our teammates on the Silver and Black Productions made some Super Bowl picks. We haven't been held accountable for it just yet, so we're going to do that coming up live from Media Row. You're listening or watching Raiders Live.
Intercepted down the sideline.
We told the state of Nevada,
touchdown,
that you're getting more than a football team.
The highest point total in Raiders franchise history.
You're getting an army.
You got to stay involved no matter what it is.
We have a commitment to this community.
And working in the community is the thing that we do the best.
One night, one cause, one nation. Be there as we put the helmets down and our hands out in support of Nevada. Introducing the inaugural Las Vegas Raiders Foundation Silver and Black Gala, featuring players, coaches, alumni, and entertainment. Join us in providing help and hope to those struggling with mental health issues. Secure your spot today.
Raider Nation, stand up.
Hey Raider Nation, my name is Kelsey. I'm from Dallas, Texas, and this is my rookie season with the Raiderettes. I wanted to be a Raiderette, and not only because of the leadership and how just involved they are within the team, but I had been in Dallas for a long time, and I was a little too scared to travel outside my home state. Finally, I was just like, I got the courage to finally come out here and see what Raider Nation was all about, and I'm just really pumped to be out here. The audition process for me was a little scary and a little intimidating, but I think that's what drives me, is if you're not scared to do something, then it's not worth it. I did come out of a 5-year dance retirement for my professional dance career, so I was a little scared coming in, but I'm just really proud of myself again to be able to say that I made another NFL professional dance team. I'm really looking forward to getting to know the traditions of the team and to really dive deep within the Raiders community. I know that the Raiders organization does a lot within the community with the youth, and I'm really excited to be a part of that because that's our next generation. That's who is going to be a part of the dance world, be a part of the football community, and if not, be the person that is in this chair next time. See you on the field, Raider Nation. Go Raiders.
It is draft season, and with that, it's our pleasure now to welcome you to the Raiders NFL Draft Podcast.
This is a very exciting time. We get a chance to join the nation, Raider Nation, talk a little bit about the draft.
The Raiders very well positioned in terms of draft resources, draft capital.
This will be a fascinating watch as we get closer to the draft and kind of see how the Raiders put the pieces of the puzzle together.
We've got a lot to cover here over the next 8 weeks, and so excited to be here on this Raiders NFL Draft Podcast.
All right, the Super Bowl will be right here at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. It's time for our Super Bowl picks. Let's go with AFC first.
AFC first.
I know they're the number 1 seed, but have you been seeing the way those Ravens have been playing?
No. Yep.
I'm going with the Ravens in the
we're going
AFC.
AFC first. We're going
AFC.
AFC first.
Who are you going with?
Who you going with, Jay?
Yeah, not
Let's see, man. I'm going Lamar Jackson
all right.
in the Baltimore. Three and a no.
You jumped.
I'm going with the Cleveland Browns.
Oh,
you know why?
yeah, you don't
They're the
deserve to
only
be up there.
team that's going to beat the Ravens. No one else can beat the Ravens. The Cleveland Browns and Joe Flacco going to the Super Bowl.
Come on.
Yes, that's right.
All right, let's go in the NFC. Let's go in the NFC. I can't pick the Cowboys. The Eagles are horrible. Sorry about your Eagles. Out.
Come on now.
I'm going with the San Francisco. I know, Raider Nation. I know it hurts you, but I'm going with the San Francisco 49ers.
She just put a Niners down. Yeah, she did.
I did.
That is something.
You asked for my football analysis.
You know,
football analysis.
my brother from another mother, Mike McCarthy. And I'm going with Ravens. I would never. Dallas Cowboys in the Super Bowl. We're going to go. Who are you? Those 49ers.
Okay.
Go with the 49ers.
You recognize good football when you see it.
49ers. You guys.
The Browns is a horrible pick.
This is an awesome.
All right, guys.
Man.
We got to pick a winner. And you know I was born in Maryland. You know I represent Baltimore. I'm from there.
Right.
So I got to pick that. Even though I think the 49ers are a great team.
Yeah.
I think it's Lamar's time.
Yeah.
I think it's Lamar's time to get it.
You know, I like
So
that
I'm
pick.
going.
I like that pick, Amber. I'm just going to let the world know right now. If EA Super Bowl is right, I ain't watching. I ain't watching, but my Super Bowl pick, I got Lamar Action Jackson as well. I mean, that defense, Lamar, you're going to get that second MVP trophy. They balling. I'm taking the Ravens.
I think maybe the most talented team in the National Football League will probably end up winning the Super Bowl, and 49ers are probably going to get it done.
Set that right there.
Set
that on yours.
We have to remember this. We're going to remember this.
Did you watch
this? So as bad as Eric Allen's AFC pick was, there was no excuse for picking the Browns. I told him at the time, as we just saw, it was horrible. He got it right with the 49ers, and he's the only one that's still alive because the 49ers could still win.
You know what's crazy? I'm watching that clip back, and shout out to all our people that do the post-game show. You guys do an awesome job. But, you know, EA's giving you a hard time for picking the Niners. Oh, what are you doing?
What are you
and
thinking?
Then 30 seconds later, he picks the Niners.
He picked him. I think he was mad because I took his former Eagles and threw him.
I guess that's, but I was like,
I said they're horrible, but I was kind of right.
Yeah.
We were wrong. James and I were very wrong about the Ravens.
But to be fair, though, there's not a lot of folks that would have said, hey, that's a bad pick. Like, I wish we had the date on that, but I was thinking, man, I was like, that makes a ton of sense.
They were the best team, I believe, in the AFC this year for sure. They just had their worst game going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. And again, we saw that Patrick Mahomes magic and that Andy Reid magic, and that's why they are in the Super Bowl. But it even shows you that was however many weeks ago. That was when the playoffs first started. That just shows you nobody really gave the Chiefs a chance at that point.
It is pretty incredible. And
none of us picked the Chiefs. Is that not fascinating?
It is, and it's so funny because one of our mutual friend of ours that works for the Los Angeles Chargers, we have this like kind of running joke every year where I said, it doesn't matter what the Chiefs record is in September, October, November. they're gonna figure out a way
in the playoffs
to be there. And unfortunately, I wouldn't say unfortunately, the reality is here they are yet again.
Here they are. So the 49ers and the Chiefs are in Super Bowl 58, and it's time for us to make our picks. I'll let you go first, Eddie.
Oh, okay. So I will give the huge caveat of, look, obviously, if you're a fan of the silver and black, this is not very cool. You do not feel great about these two teams coming into your house. All that is said, I'm a Northern California guy. I have a 707 area code number still. It ain't going anywhere. I have some buddies that work for the Niners. I would love nothing more for them to enjoy a little bit of success. A little bit of success. And I just can't, Amber, in good conscience say, hey, Patrick Mahomes, win another one at Allegiant Stadium. So my official prediction, I'm going on the record. Let's give it 28-24.
Oh, you're on score.
Yeah, 28-24 San Francisco.
28-24 San Francisco. I'd be happy if that happened because, number one, being in the AFC West with the Raiders, you just don't want your division opponent to win it. I don't know, you're much deeper going way back with the Raiders. Do you think Raider Nation doesn't like the Chiefs or the 49ers worse?
This is actually a fascinating conversation.
It's a debate.
And this is one we should dive into at some point in the next couple of days. I don't know. I really think we kind of did the informal poll in the studio the other day. It's about as 50-50 split as you can imagine. Yeah,
I know. You ask 20 people, you get 20 different answers.
You get 20 different answers, and I think because there's so many people that, coming from the Oakland days, just don't like the Niners. Battle of the Bay. There's a lot of bad blood there. But then there's a lot of folks that I don't want to say are new age Raiders fans, but look at the Raiders as the Las Vegas Raiders or the Los Angeles Raiders, and you don't necessarily have that bad blood with the Niners. You say, hey, look, it just can't be Mahomes. So I don't know. Like I said, you get to your point. You ask the question 20 times, you're gonna get 20 different answers.
Okay, so knowing that and not wanting to upset any of Raider Nation, but you're going to either way, picking one. The 49ers is somebody that's covered all 32 teams for a long time. I have to say, I do root for the Fred Warners and the George Kittles and the Christian McCaffreys, who are genuinely class acts, great guys, and as a member of the media, will always give you an interview, will always come around. And that's not the same with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and that group. It was Travis Kelce pre-Taylor Swift. This has been a little, I'm telling you, it's been a little bit different since then. So I do kind of root for the 49ers in that sense of the players that I know and have worked with as a journalist that have always shown respect. So I think I root for the 49ers, but as a football analyst, I think the Chiefs are going to win the game. I think, and it's not because of Patrick Mahomes.
That defense.
It's because of Steve Spagnuolo's defense. Seeing what they were able to do to Lamar Jackson and a really strong Ravens offense. I think that it's going. They got Lamar Jackson completely out of his game. They got him to play like a completely different play. He turned into a pocket passer all of a sudden, like he was going to throw the ball. I think they could get Brock Purdy, a very young quarterback, out of his game as well. It's the effect of Steve Spagnuolo. So I'm picking the Chiefs to win, but I am actually hoping the 49ers do. Score, our producers are asking for a score. I do think this is going to be not a high-scoring game and not a low-scoring. I think you're right in the right range. I'm going to go 31-28 Chiefs.
I will say this, though, Amber. The good thing is that both you and I have predicted close games. And I think if just fans of the NFL, as long as we have a close, competitive, good game at beautiful Allegiant Stadium, I'll be happy.
I will be happy. All right, it's been so much fun hanging out with you here on Media Row. We will be back at it tomorrow. Raiders Live will roll on starting at 10 a.m. Pacific. So many more celebrities, guests, athletes coming through. We'll see you then, Raider Nation.